What's up, guys? Okay, well, you definitely don't recognize this sound, like this voice or whatsoever, because this is actually my first show on Montco Radio. If you don't know me, of course, my name is Hiba Jandali. In this show, it's called My Mind in the Working, and I'm practically going to be talking about my favorite things, that may interest you, and today, you can say it's a kind of a spooky type of show, which I feel like it's the worst idea to, introduce my show kind of thing. So today, I did mention it's creepy stuff. I didn't actually tell you what it was. It's basically called creepypasta. And I know it's a little misleading because you hear the word pasta and you're like, what's pasta? I mean, some people tell me, whenever I tell them, what do you think about creepypasta when you first hear it? And they're just kind of like, I eat pasta. That's all I know about it. Yeah, so it's kind of basically... Excuse me, I have a sore throat. Basically, it actually comes from the word copy pasta, which is actually an internet slang term that's been going around in different websites, and people are just copy pasting it everywhere. Which honestly, it's something I'm familiar with because I've seen that in so many different terms. But that basically happened, and then the creepypasta kind of came along, where basically it's the whole idea of it is just posting a lot of horror stories that are, of course, fictional, not real. That's one thing I'll tell you. And, it's just passed around. And, honestly, I gotta say, reading those creepypastas, I'm really impressed by the people who wrote those. Because, I don't know, it's just the way they write it. It's it just gives you the chills. It's incredible. And I've been researching those for every single night, and it's actually the worst solution. By the way, I'm tapping the table. I always move my hands. It's kind of uncontrollable. Okay. So basically, creepypastas, I've been researching them every single night, and it's kind of a problem because I just can't sleep at night. One time I was reading Jeff the Killer, and I couldn't sleep that night because I just kept my eyes open because just the image of it in my mind, it haunted me. It was horrible. And then last night I was researching about the Slenderman whole thing that I'm going to be talking about later, where the two girls killed their friend because of Slenderman. It's oh my god, it's horrible. So I've been doing that for a while, and honestly, this is what I do for you guys, so, whatever. Anyways, so yeah, basically creepypasta is, there's a whole website that's called the Creepypasta Wiki, where you get to just read a bunch of creepypastas, and there's so much variety, so, it's incredible. I don't know. And not only that, there's also games inspired by it, where you get to fully experience the whole, genre of it. It's I think it's the best thing to look up during Halloween, especially, and I honestly should have done it during Halloween, but whatever. Just a little warning, some of these stories will, this is for a matured audience. There's going to be a lot of graphic stuff, light stuff, so if you have any young children, any toddlers, yeah, don't let them. It's going to traumatize you, trust me. If I got traumatized, then you're definitely going to get traumatized, so this is for only a matured audience, so don't listen if you don't like bloody stuff and graphic stuff. So that's a little warning. I warned you. I'm gonna warn you a couple times during this show. So don't put this around children or a young audience. So there you go. I warned you. Okay. Now, the first creepypasta that I'll be talking about is Slenderman. Now, this one is probably very, very known when it comes to creepypasta. When you ask someone, oh, what's the first creepypasta they can come up with in your mind? And they're like, Slenderman. Because it grew so much as a game at some point. I forgot which year, but it was insane. And I think I tried to play it one time on my phone, and... Okay, this is the type of personality I am. If I said this, you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I watch people on YouTube game on it, and they're just playing Slenderman, and I'm just like, it's not that scary. It's probably fine. And then I go to play it myself, and I'm shaking so much. It's kind of I don't know. But Slenderman, I didn't actually play it on the laptop. I played it on my sister's phone. And let me tell you right now, a piece of advice, do not play the Slenderman on the phone, because if you're kind of expecting it to be the same as the laptop one, no, it's very, very different. So if you're wondering, if you're out there and you're like, okay, what's Slenderman? I don't know what you're talking about. So basically, imagine this, a very tall figure, human-like, no face, just a pale white face, and they have long arms, long legs, and tentacles on the back, wearing a suit. That's Slenderman, okay? That literally, it's not overly, scary, not it's just that. But the idea that he doesn't have a face is what's creepy. I feel like the tentacles is like whatever, okay, that doesn't not that big deal. So basically, the whole idea of Slenderman just came from a Photoshop contest, and I kid you not, it's an actual Photoshop contest that grew wild from everywhere around the world. So basically, the Photoshop contest was like, oh, just like Photoshop and send it in, whatever. And somebody was like, hey, why don't I get 2 photographs that's like a playground filled with children, and I'll just put a tall figure with a white face and a suit in the background, and it looks realistic. And trust me, if you Google it, it looks so realistic. I actually, even for me, before I knew about this whole Slenderman like Photoshop contest, I genuinely thought it was real. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh my God, this is terrifying. And so he gave, and not only that, he attached some kind of quote that says, oh, he basically steals kids and he's saying, and he puts a quote as if like the photographer who took the picture is like saying, oh, he steals kids and like kidnaps them, kills them, that kind of thing. And like he does do it other people, but like mostly kids. That's what he's known for. So when you see fan art, you always see Slenderman like holding hands with the child and that kind of thing. So it's kind of creepy. So basically that's how Slenderman grew up. And the whole game around Slenderman is basically you in a forest, and it's like really dark because we all hate dark forests. And basically you're basically just walking around trying to find 8 pages. And those 8 pages are like hung on trees, hung on trucks, in the bathroom. Which let me tell you right now, the bathroom is the most haunting place in that game. It sounds great. Like when I first got introduced to that game, I just hated going to the bathroom. It's like, it gives me chills. It's horrible. So basically, and it's silent, and all you can hear is like crickets. And you're walking around trying to find the 8 pages, and you win. Now, the more pages you collect, the closer Slenderman gets to you. So, and the worst part is that like you have the only source of light is the flashlight. So the flashlight only shows like a bit of the screen. So like you can't even see that much. And when you like, the funny part is that like when I see people play it and like they're turning around, they see a tree, they're like and when they think it's like a creature or something, but it's just a tree. So yeah, basically that's how I developed more on my fear of dark, the dark in general. It's just like, ugh. So basically, what's it called? I say basically so many times. Okay, that's great. So the 8 pages, they all are like blank, but like they have some weird, scary drawings. Which let me tell you, it's like it looks like children drawings, which some people get freaked out by. But like to me, when I see those children drawings, I'm like, It's not the reason why I get so scared from the game. I feel like the only thing I get scared from the game is Slenderman himself, of course, the iconic character. So basically, oh my God, I gotta stop saying that. So the game basically, oh my God, okay, you know what, whatever. So the game kind of grew from then, and a lot of people started playing it, and there were even parodies of it, like the Shrek one where you have to collect a bunch of onions. That one's terrifying. Take that from me. Like Shrek, I can't look at him the same way. Shrek was a meme at some point, like in one year, but like that game is just horrifying, but it's funny. Like I like watching people play, but I definitely would not play it myself. Like they made Shrek distorted. It's horrible. And there's another one with SpongeBob where you have to collect the Krabby Patties, and you're Patrick, and SpongeBob attacks you. You can say it became a huge deal. So recently, I would say not recently, but it happened in 2014. Which is what I mentioned earlier and I'm going to be talking about, is there's an incident where 2 girls who were 12 years old, again, graphic content, little warning, basically, oh my God, killed their friend. Well, not killed, actually. The girl survived. But they tried to kill their friend in order to sacrifice for Slenderman to like appreciate them. And after that, their plan was to go to a mansion in the forest to be able to see Slenderman along with other creepypastas that was around. And the girl survived. The girl actually crawled out of the forest and saw a guy biking, which he actually biked in the wrong like he wasn't allowed to go to that trail, but he went there like over a chain or something. And he saw the girl, and she was like, hey, can you call help? And he basically called 911. And I'll tell you right now, I heard the conversation of him and police, and it's like the most ridiculous thing, especially from that situation. Like the police was just like, oh yeah, what's up? And then the guy was like, oh yeah, there's a girl. She's she has stab wounds. He was like, stab wounds? He was like, yeah. He was like, is she bleeding? Like, of course she's bleeding. She's just stabbed. Yeah. So the girl survived, and I'll tell you right now, she's the sweetest girl in the entire world. I saw videos of it. And it happened on May 31st, 2014. And these girls, I think they're the two girls who attacked her were actually her old friends. So that kind of, you know what? That story just made me feel, you know what? If I'm lonely, it's fine. I like to be lonely. Like, I would not want to have to deal with that. Yeah, so that's basically Slenderman. It's crazy because, like, again, the thing about those creepypastas is that they're written in such a way that makes you debate, is this real or is this not real? Like, there's so many creepypastas where I'm like, okay, this is obviously not real, like, okay. But there's certain creepypastas that make me think, oh my god, okay, this seems a little real. So yeah, that's Slenderman. So the next one's actually, I feel like the most important one is Jeff the Killer. Jeff the Killer is very, very known because of the picture, if you look it up. Now, this one, I will tell you right now, very graphic. So, again, little warning, only for a mature audience because it's very graphic. So, just a little heads up. Okay, so basically, Jeff the Killer, if you look him up, it looks like a face that's very pale, wide smile, and just no eyelids, just a circular eye. And it's terrifying. I'm telling you, that one's probably that haunts me the most. Like, I hate that. Every time I look him up on Creepypasta Wiki or something, I just always avoid just in general, like, I just hate it. So, but his story is very interesting. So basically, the whole story is, oh my god, I feel like if I'm gonna re-listen to this, I'm gonna count how many times I say basically. It's so funny. So Jeff and his family move into a neighborhood, and one day when he's gonna go to school with his brother Liu, which I think is a younger child, they got approached by 3 teens, and they got really bullied, and then it took a turn, you could say, where the kids started getting knives and, like, threatening, and then Jeff realized that they're bullying more on his brother, and Jeff has, for days, they explained, like, for a couple of weeks, he's had this sensation that it hurts him a bit, so it's like he can't get it away. It's just a weird sensation. It's not like getting sick or anything. So when he saw them attack his brother Liu, he kind of got, like, controlled by that sense, and it made him, you can say it kind of ended up with one kid getting stabbed in the arm and one of them getting punched in the stomach. So it kind of got bad, and Jeff and Liu ran away. They were like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. And instead of going on the bus so they don't get caught, they went and ran to the school themselves. And the day went normally until when they got home, they saw the police there, and they were like, hey, your kids are in trouble because this happened. And basically, Liu kind of felt bad, so he was like, hey, it's my fault. I'm the one who stabbed that kid. Just take me away. And Jeff is, like, innocent. And Jeff was really upset. He was like, no, what are you doing? And then pretty much Jeff was, like, questioning the fact that he had that sense. And every day he'd get that sense, like, more often, like that kind of evil sense, you can say. So one day, the mom was like, hey, there's our neighbor named Billy is having a birthday party, so you should go there. And he's like, hey, Leo just got taken away by the police. I'm not going there. He's like, oh, you have to. Come on, it's a party. And he was like, okay, whatever, fine. So he goes to the party, and he's having so much fun, actually, because at first he was depressed. He was like, now he's like, oh, this is fun. And then all of a sudden, the 3 kids approach him again, and they're like, hey, we're not done yet. You might have like attacked us and stuff, but I'm winning. I like winning. I'm not gonna lose to you. And that's probably the worst night probably for everybody, because it's a birthday party and this huge fight started breaking out. And pretty much you can say that the kids actually got guns and knives, so it's like worse. And then Jeff kind of couldn't control himself, and the fight broke out so much that he actually killed one of the kids. And one of the kids pretty much, like, all the kids started, like, tackling him in a way that Jeff was sprayed with bleach and vodka, and then the kids set him on fire, which explains his pale face, because his face got burned. So after that, Jeff was like, oh my god, okay. So then he kills him. Well, okay, that was way too casual. Trust me, it's not. And everyone's screaming, and they're like, oh my god, help me, what's going on? And then Jeff wasn't sad that he killed the kid. He was very happy. He was like, oh my god, this is great. Like, this sensation. Oh my god, what is this power? Oh, this is incredible. One night, oh my god, I hate this part. So the mom wakes up in the middle of the night, and she finds out that the bathroom light was open. She was like, what's going on? She goes up to the bathroom and finds Jeff carving a smile on his face, a permanent smile, if that makes sense. So pretty much that explains his wide smile. And she was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm so happy that I just want to put this permanent smile on my face, and now I'm always happy. And then she's like, okay, you're crazy. She's like, okay, that's good, honey. Okay, I'm gonna go tell dad about this. She goes to dad. She's like, get the gun. Get the gun. We need to kill this child. What's going on? And then she turns around and she finds Jeff standing at the doorway saying, "Mummy, you lied." And I don't like the sentence so much because it's just, So then he kills his parents. Wow, cool. Typical, yeah. So then he goes to Liu, and Liu finds it at the doorway, gets so freaked out, about to scream, but then he tells him to, shh, just go to sleep. And that's pretty much how, that laid out. It's terrifying, okay? Like, the thing that makes me believe, like, okay, this is totally a fake story, because number one, who gets a sense of, like, that sort for no reason? Like, there has to be some type of reason. But, like, it's just that, and not only that, but, like, if you look up the picture, it's so, like, as someone who's, like, photoshopped so many times for fun, like, just for the heck of it, and I know each tool what it is, I look at the picture, I'm like, that's a smudge tool, that's a this tool, and whatever. And let me point out, the fact that his eyes are open is because he burned his eyelids as well, so he can stay awake and not sleep. That's one thing I forgot to mention. So, yeah, that's Jeff. And honestly, even though it's photoshopped, it's very well photoshopped. I can tell you, I get so freaked out every time I look it up. So, if you want to look it up in Google, then I'm warning you right now, it's so terrible. It will haunt you. Like, it's so bad. I feel like I'm doing this podcast just to haunt you. Trust me, don't look it up if you're not ready for it. It's not bloody, but, like, it's gross. Well, kind of bloody, actually. But, yeah, that's Jeff the Killer. I hate that story, but I like that story because I get freaked out about it. So, if it's Halloween night and you're with your friends, read that story. It's so, like, you can roleplay and stuff, but, like, actually, don't roleplay. But you can read it, you can enjoy it with your friends, and, yeah, just get spooked, okay, my mouth is going crazy. I need to get some more coffee of this. Okay, now, the next creepypasta I'll be talking about is actually a video game-related one, which is Lavender Town. And yeah, now this one, I believe it's true. Now this one is one of the ones that I really genuinely don't know if it's true or not, because I don't think I was aware of it. I didn't see it on the news, maybe because I was young and I didn't know it was on the news, because it happened a while ago. I think it happened before I was born. I'm pretty sure. But this is Lavender Town. So if you're a Pokemon fan, you might know it. Basically, in one of the Pokemon games, there's a place called Lavender Town, which is a graveyard for Pokemon, dead Pokemon, basically. And the thing that freaks me out is because this is the part, because there's actual, like information about this, and it's like, I don't know if it's true or not. And people are telling me, like I've seen on creepypasta websites and, like, in general, people are saying that this shouldn't be a creepypasta because it actually happened or some sort. That's what really gets me confused. So that's why I was going to talk about it. So, because I feel like technically it kind of is. Because I am going to connect it to another actual creepypasta, which is about an actual, like, Pokemon that exists. So Lavender Town is basically, the issue about it is that the background music. Because the background music apparently had high frequencies, like, in the music itself. So it caused kids who are between the age of 7 and 12 to, a little graphic, I'm not sure if to pretty much, you can say, end their life, because it drove them insane. And some people made theories, like, maybe because it was on a Game Boy, so, like, of course the speakers are not that great, so, like, it just doesn't go well. So they pretty much, of course, they fixed the theme song eventually in the new releases. So, but it's, to this day, it's, like, so mysterious, because no one knows, like, is it actually the music, or it's crazy that just a high frequency could drive kids to end their life. And it happened mostly in Japan. That's one thing I'll tell you. And I've listened to the song, and at least maybe because, of course, I'm older, it didn't affect me. But if you're curious, I would say go for it. But I don't advise it because I don't want to encourage something that's bad. But I would say you can listen to a cover. I know this one YouTuber does, like, an acapella, so I listen to the acapella all the time. I love that acapella so much. And yeah, but it's freaky because, like, maybe you see gameplays of people playing it. It's like, there's other creepypastas about Lavender Town, like Pokemon in Lavender Town, where there's, like, one Pokemon that's like, oh, will glitch your game or something in Lavender Town. So it's pretty haunted in that area. So yeah, that's Lavender Town. And the one I was going to talk about is a certain Pokemon called Hypno. Hypno basically is a yellow Pokemon that pretty much holds a pendulum. It's like one of those, like, oh, hypnosis kind of thing. But the reason people don't think they made a creepypasta about it, and I really love the idea, is because of his entry, or I can't assume the gender. It's entry. So if you play Pokemon, basically each Pokemon, they have a description that the developer of the game puts in. So this is Hypno's entry in Pokemon Fire and Red. Pokedex entry says, let me just say it goes on paces. So basically it says around the time that like this Pokemon pretty much there's a incident where he took away a child. Let me just read it. Oh yeah, it says it carries a pendulum-like device. There once was an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. And you can say Pokemon fans were going insane. They were like, what, why? Because usually the entries are just like really cute or like wholesome, but then there's that. And people just were like, what? So that's when the creepypasta kind of developed, you can say. And so there is actually, and one thing that I really love about this creepypasta is that I'm assuming someone wrote this, and it's called Hypno's Lullaby. So Hypno's Lullaby is a lullaby, apparently, that could be sung when, Hypno maybe sings it when he's bringing children with him. So I'm going to be saying this, telling you guys right now. It's a little freaky. That's one thing I'll tell you. So it goes, "Come, little children, come with me. Safe and happy you will be. Away from your homes, now let us run. With Hypno, you'll have so much fun." No. "Oh, little children, please don't cry. Hypno wouldn't hurt a fly. Be free, be free, be free to play. Come down in my cave with me to stay. Oh, little children, please don't squirm. Those ropes, I know, will hold you firm." Which, by the way, the ropes as in, like, okay, I don't know if you watched Peter Pan or something, but when they captured the kids, they kind of put them all back to back and he tied them all in a rope so they all don't move and it's hard for them to move. That's what they mean. Just a little clarification. Anyways, Hypno tells you this is true, but sadly, Hypno lied to you. Oh, little children, you mustn't leave. Your families for you will grieve. Their minds will unravel at the seams, allowing me to haunt their dreams. But surely all of you must know that it is time for you to go. Oh, little children, you weren't clever. Now you shall stay with me forever. Love that. I love that lullaby so much because it's just so freaky. But there's some people who actually do covers of it where like they kind of say in their own voice. So it's like it's a whole fandom about it. Like I think it's very interesting because like now whenever I'm gonna play Pokemon, if I ever encounter that Pokemon, I'm just not gonna look at it the same way. And I feel like people might use it as their new favorite Pokemon. So I am not sure. So yeah, that's Hypno and Lavender Town. Pokemon is just trust me, it's a very wholesome game. It's just that 1% of creepiness about it. So yeah, the next one I'm going to be talking about, which I feel like every time I mention to people also, like, what's the first thing that comes when you hear creepypasta? It's either Slenderman or the Rake. Now, the Rake I can describe as a spiderweb as a creature. Like, I don't know. It's just, and not only that, like right now I'm Googling the word rake and I just see the one that you just, when it comes to fall and like leaves are falling, you just rake it. Like that's like, when I first heard of the Rake, I'm like, is that a haunted rake? Like what? So I was a little confused, you can say, but the Rake is probably one thing that people said that they get more freaked out about, which honestly, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think it's that bad, but it's just because of the story that comes along with it. And I feel like it's one of those like OG creepypastas because around the time creepypasta blew up, the Rake kind of blew up as well. So basically, the Rake, the story of it is a couple were sleeping at night and they woke up to see a figure facing away from them that looked like a half human, half no fur dog, you can say, furless dog. So the creature pretty much looked at them and then sprung up and went to their kid's bedroom. So they tried to catch up with the creature, but then they found their daughter almost dying because she was hurt, saying her last words were, "He is the Rake." Now, if you look up the Rake, it's, again, I feel like I'm pretty sure it's Photoshop, but the fact that like it looks, oh my god, it looks so, like the good thing about these creepypastas is the people who make those or create those creepypastas, because it's just the Photoshop is so realistic. It's crazy, like it makes you think it's real, and like the glowing eyes and everything. And honestly, whenever I see that photo, the first thing I think of is me when I don't get my coffee in the morning. Like the Rake is just kind of creepy. I would not want to have that in my room. Like, it's terrifying. So yeah, I actually don't have that much to say about the Rake because the Rake is kind of there. It's just that story, I feel like. I mean, unless I didn't look up too much about it, but yeah. The next one I was going to talk about is Ben Drowned. Now, this one I'm going to do a quick one because we're going to run out of time in a bit. So basically, Ben Drowned, if you know the Legend of Zelda, iconic game, been there for years. Basically, there's one that's called Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Now, this one I've heard a lot of controversy about, like the whole game itself. Like people saying it's a little haunted or like a little creepy because Majora's Mask, like, for example, like it's all about like the moon falling to Earth and Link is going to save the day. So the moon itself, like the creepy face, apparently creeped out a lot of little kids when playing that game when it first released. So it's kind of like, there's a big deal of it. So of course there's going to be a creepypasta about it. And the whole story of the creepypasta of Ben Drowned is that this one guy was walking in the street, sees an old man selling that game, like the copy of the game. And he's like, hey, do you want this game? And he's like, sure. So he takes the game and comes home, is about to play it. And then he finds out there's a save file called Ben. He's like, okay, I'll play it, which I don't know. If I were you, if I got a game and I saw a save file, I wouldn't press it. I would just be like, delete it. I want to make my own, that kind of thing. Like, I'm not going to play a game called Ben. I'm going to play it by my own name. So it's that kind of situation. But then the man plays it, and when he clicks on Ben, he realizes there's a lot of weird things about the game when he's playing it, like the words, the text that's being displayed by the characters or whatever is all all messed up and backwards, and music's playing backwards, so it's like a little weird, and like the game's glitchy, and then it keeps displaying like actual like full-on text that says you shouldn't have done that and Ben is getting lonely and you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? Now that last sentence, I feel like it is, I've never played this game before, but I know it's like one of the characters that you talk to in the street do say that. So I think someone took that and was like, oh, that's a good idea. And I feel like that, like when it comes to Ben Drowned, that's the first thing that comes in people's heads when they've heard of this creepypasta, which is you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And so the best part about this, which is why I really love this creepypasta as well, is the fact that somebody wanted to kind of build on this creepypasta. So what they did was that they actually, like, I'm pretty sure they hacked the game and did a screen recording of it to make it seem like the guy actually screen recorded his experience with the game. So it's actually on YouTube right now. So if you're feeling brave enough, go watch it, and you'll see it's so cool. Like, I watched it, and it's incredible about this whole community is that, like, they like to add on to it, but at the same time it's kind of bad because it makes people think like, oh my god, this is actually real. It's not real. Nothing I'm saying is real. So pretty much Ben Drowned, it's like, I think this idea of a kid called Ben who drowned, I mean, it's self-explanatory, and pretty much Ben was communicating with that guy through the game. So it's very creepy. So I think it's like the idea of like creepypasta being brought to life by like doing something like that. It's so cool. And a lot of YouTubers might have like covered it. I saw one of them by Peanut Butter Gamer. He kind of reviewed that. And it's just that's one of I like video game related creepypastas as well because you can do so much with it. Like something like the Rake, like it's just the Rake. I mean, it's the one that you gather leaves up. No, I'm kidding. But things with video games, like you can do so much with. Like you can actually create something to experience a creepypasta. So I think that's like the best part about this type of creepypasta. So I've said creepypasta so many times in this. So yeah. So to end off this little show, again, number one, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I freaked you out, and I'm hoping there wasn't any babies listening to it because I don't want to freak them out either. But pretty much the whole concept of this, like creepypastas in general, like I feel like it's like a very interesting type of genre. Like if you're looking for stories, like I know a lot of people don't read books, they don't like reading books. I feel like creepypastas are kind of like short stories that I feel like I've grown to love them as well because back in like high school when I used to when in English class we would read like short stories and some of them give me the chills and they're creepy. So that's when I was like, okay, pretty sure creepypastas are just like that. So like I would like read them and I feel like they're very quick to read and they're very like just grab your attention so much that I feel like it's a very interesting whole like fandom. And by the way, I'm going to mention just a couple of creepypastas that I also recommend to read that I didn't mention yet because there's a lot. There's Eyeless Jack, Laughing Jack, which I don't know what it is, and there's also theories about like some of those creepypasta kind of stories that connect together. So like Jeff the Killer's dog is called what was it? Smile Dog. There's one of that. So that one's like Jeff's dog. I don't know why. There's Tiki Toby. There is Ben John already said that. Bloody Painter. And this one that I haven't read yet and I'm like really confused about. It's called Happy Appy, which is an app. I saw a picture of it. It was like an apple with lips. It looked like the annoying orange. I was so confused. I was like, how's that a creepypasta? But you know what? That's going to make me want to read it. So I'm going to read it later on, which I shouldn't because I've already been haunted enough with those stories I had to research. It was horrible. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy it. It's 12 o'clock right now, well, 11:59 technically. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully I didn't haunt your dreams. Well, I'm not going to haunt your dreams. Maybe the stories will. But if you guys are interested in it, I feel like this Halloween, even though we're months away from it, then you have some plans. Gather some friends, eat some popcorn of some sort, read those type of stuff, or play the video games if you're interested, if you're a gamer. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I guess I'll be leaving for now. See you guys next week.